What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 229 of HorsePLAY Live. We're titling this one, let's see, what can we call it? I think we'll call it King of Tokyo Snares Rabbit and Blops 4. Yep, kind of on the nose. That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. Well, a lot of people are talking about Black Ops 4, so I might as well express my quick thoughts on that. Just jump right in. And I guess this episode will be more of an episode 228.5, but that's hard to track, so we'll just append this to the end of that episode since that is owed anyway. So yeah, I should probably edit the scene so that's reflected. Yep, amateur hour here. Anyway, I'm Yogizilla, your bald bear lizard host, and I looked at the reveal, and you know, a lot of people are excited about it. I've lost the excitement of Call of Duty, but the one thing I will say is it's funny how they're trying to copy Rainbow Six in a way. The Rainbow Six Siege to me is the best tactical shooter out there. I don't see anybody dethroning it anytime soon. And I'm looking at all this stuff they're talking about slowing it down, and you know, making the specialists more pronounced by giving them specific kits. And I'm like, okay. I mean, they're not, you know, Rainbow Six Siege wasn't the first game to do it, but it's probably the best to do it. So there's a little promise here. And you know, of course, they're gonna have a battle royale mode in there. They're talking about boots on the ground, you know, no thrusting and no health regeneration. It's gonna be more of a gravitas to the battle. Okay. And yes, Taylor, I am a slacking bum. But yeah, you know, I don't want to be that guy. But I'm not gonna say meh either. I'm gonna say I'll probably jump on it, but not something I'm super excited about. Bionic Commando hooks. I guess, you know, I do like Bionic Commando, so that does work for me. So the specialists from Black Ops 3 are coming back. This is a big deal. And yeah, I mean, it looks pretty. Call of Duty games always do. So we'll see. Maybe this will be a game that'll be on rotation. But I find it hard to see any shooter replacing Rainbow Six Siege for me, especially a tactical shooter. And that's all I got to say on that. This will be a quick episode. I just wanted to get one in the bank, and I keep saying that. This is like third month saying that. A lot of shit going on. I gotta fire someone at work, but fortunately we'll be able to put him in another department. He's just not gonna work out for IT. So there's that. Got a shit ton of projects going on. You know, the wonderful world of IT. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's hard to find reliable people, right? Right now, the theme of the week has been having vendors and contractors that just, I feel like I need to hold their hand and wipe their ass for them. You know, and it's like, at a certain point, if you gotta really spoon feed people and explain how to do their job and how you want it done, you know, you gotta go explain all the specific steps. At that point, after a certain point, it's just like, oh, maybe I should just do it myself, because I literally just did all the legwork for you. For one, we're doing a phone system upgrade, and yeah, I was very careful. I set up RFP process. Narrowed it down from 20 plus potential providers to about a pool of 8 or 9. Then it came down to like 4. Finally selected one, and you know, now I'm kind of regretting the decision just a little bit, but I still think it's better than the other choices that were out there. But Jesus, I mean, you know how it is with salespeople. Once they have the contract, once they have the deal, all of a sudden their tune changes. You get pushed back, and they're not as friendly and accommodating anymore. It's like, well, if you need to do this, then that needs to come into the change order. Well, it doesn't need to be a change order, because it was part of the original spec. You know, and I should have to keep reminding people, this is how it needs to be done. This is how it needs to be done. And then the 10th time, oh wait, do you want this done? That wasn't part of the original plan. It's like, oh my fucking god. Just fucking do your job. What's the point of hiring professionals, third parties? This is why I think outsourcing. You always see a trend where outsourcing gets a surge, right? Everything's just getting outsourced, and then people start going back to in-house. you know. But I think it's going to be really strong now in the coming years. Things are going to be coming back to the internal, because you have very little control when you're at the mercy of a vendor. It's easier to transition things when you have full ownership of it and visibility. You know, you outsource stuff, and there's certain things you just can't outsource without being at the mercy of the vendor. And then if you want to leave, it's like, well, we still got all your stuff, so you gotta wait till we release it. You know, so you have to have some contingency plans for that. And but it's fucking annoying. And then, you know, I agree, outsource nothing. You know, now everybody's going towards the whole SaaS model. You know, software as a service. Everything has to be subscription based. Our VP is really big on that. And I agree, for some things you want a mature product. You don't want to have software developers and have to build everything from scratch. There's an established product, go with that. But there's something to be said about on-premise servers and doing shit in-house. You know, like the Office 365 stuff, that stuff is cool. You know, putting SharePoint on the cloud, sure. Using Yammer, having the Office 365, you know, the software suite for Office. Visio Online even, that's good too. Exchange Online, not really sold. And I'm not really sold on having AzureAD, having all your domain services be, you know, on the cloud. You know, there's a number of issues with it. But you know, one of the biggest things is that you lose a lot of control through the global policy. There's ways you could do it through the cloud, but it ain't the same. It just ain't. And then when you're stuck in that awkward transition, if you don't have federated identity, then people are confused. Oh, is that taking a password? No, because you just use your domain password, your Windows password, not your Office 365 password. Oh, what a pain in the fucking ass. Software as a service is a joke and a scam. And you know, and then what people realize is, people don't realize that it's more expensive long term. It is super expensive. You know, the amount of money we're spending now monthly just to pay for seats on Office 365. You figure with the server, and we've had this conversation before. I know we had this rant before. I'm having deja vu. But you know, you have a server. You know, servers can last quite a while, and you know, hardware-wise, you know, the requirements do not change that drastically. So you could get a solid 5 years easily. You could push even. I see servers run, you know, close to that 10-year mark. So by then they've more than paid for themselves. You know, on a you know, doing the math, you know, 2 or 3 years, depending on the size of the organization, pretty much will pay for the server, owning a server, and then some. And you still have time to have 2 or 3 system administrators. You still have money to have 2 or 3 system administrators, depending how generous you want to be with them. Or one really solid one like me. Wink, wink. Yeah, and the servers are 10 plus years old. The hardware hasn't changed that drastically. And now, you know, operating systems are a lot more efficient. So you can streamline it so that they run well. It's all about the licensing, you know. So you look at the cost of, you know, Office 365. I know some Microsoft's pushing everybody towards, but I'm not sold. So there's that. Doing a bunch of network infrastructure upgrades. There's a lot of shit going on at once, so that's why I haven't been keeping a schedule. And I apologize, folks. I've just been beat. Ugh. I think there's gonna be a lot of long nights this week, drawing network diagrams and putting some plans together. And to top it all off, you know, the thing is different. You know, I've worked at all kinds of companies. I've worked in academia. I worked for financial companies, you know, all types of Fortune 500 companies, pharmaceuticals, you name it. I've probably done it. You know, I've done government sector, you know, DoD and other stuff. You know, things really need security clearance. And different dynamics, but one thing that's very distinct versus when you work in a privately held company versus a publicly held company. Privately held company, you know, the CEOs, the owners, they tend to be a lot more hands-on, sometimes to a detrimental level. And our CEO no different. He's barely around, but he's always making decisions that, you know, remotely. And he has several companies that he runs, and he just doesn't trust his executive staff, myself included, his senior leadership, you know, to do their job, and it gets in the way of the job. So he makes these deals on the golf course or having dinner or whatever, you know, at business functions. And you know, there's this one company out here, and I'm just gonna throw their name out there. They're like a Robert Half or Pinkerton. I'm trying to think of the big outfits. I can't think. Who the big consulting firms in IT now? I can't even think of them now. But just think, you know, if you've been around the circuit, you at least recognize those two or one of those two. But they're like, they're like big guys for the South. Like, they're huge for Georgia. But I look at what they do, and it's just shitty services. You know, one size fits all solutions. They spend so much time aggressively marketing and selling. Their CEO did not ever stop selling. And I shut him down so many times. He finally, you know, went over my head because he's friends with our CEO. Finally wore him down. And our CEO, you know, forced us to, you know, basically go with this thing he just signed. Freaking security services, you know, a risk assessment. Just for a risk assessment, right? I had a company. I got buddy with them. They hooked me up. They did really thorough work. They did a full audit. They did external, internal scanning, you know, port scanning, vulnerability scanning, stress testing, user account audit, you know, packet sniffing. Freaking, they looked at things from a policy perspective, BYOB, incident response, you know, organizational risks, how everything's structured, you know, from an organizational perspective, you know, everything. And they gave us solutions. And it wasn't just like a hard upsell. You know, say, hey, you could try this. This is probably, if you could go with any of these things, I probably would focus on these couple of things first, right? Rather than saying, you need all of these things or you're gonna blow up. They're really honest about it. Say, hey, you're not really at a huge risk. You're better than most companies we've audited. You're in a really good place. Take care of the really important stuff. Password policy, you know, blah, blah, blah. Really just came up to the basics, you know, things that people take for granted. Physical security. And people think worry so much about firewalls and fucking IPS, you know, all this, you know, NACs and SIMs and all this stuff's to secure your network, but they don't think about the most important thing, your physical security. How, you know, are your freaking server rooms locked down? You know, how easy is it for people to get to your switches? You know, are people sharing their passwords and other credentials, you know, with other people? You know, it comes up to organizational and physical issues almost 90% of the time. That's why social engineering is so big. Are people clicking on links because they think they see a cute cat video? You know, shit like that. Anyway, if you're not running virtualization, you can run 10-year-old servers. Yeah. This is true. Yeah. If you want to run several instances off of one computer, off of one server, then you need some really hardcore servers. But that's a whole different discussion. And VMware is pretty demanding. From what I've seen, Zen server, I think, you know, open source is more flexible. But you know, the standard is kind of VMware. Everyone kind of uses VMware because, you know, that's where the market share is. Anyway, so yeah, we got this damn signed fucking thing, and I'm laughing at it because we knocked it down to the original. They wanted to charge like $15K just for a fucking risk assessment. We knocked it down to about $8K. But even then, for a fraction of what they're charging us now, we got, you know, 3 or 4 times worth of the work and value from another company for a fraction of the price. You know, about a third of what they're charging, if even that, even less than that. So it's just ridiculous. So, you know, it's like, now I gotta waste my time fucking hold the hands of these babies. So, you know, I go through fucking CAS controls and NSID and all this shit, all these questions and answers, and basically open up my butthole just so you know what we already know. An audit is worthless if it reveals what you're already aware of. An audit should only take place at regular intervals after you've had time to address the issues. It's like a food inspection, you know. It's a dipstick to make sure you're on track. But if you had the opportunity to implement that stuff, then it's worthless. All you're doing is just wasting time and resources. Yeah, VMware is the Adobe of this space. Fucking expensive, and they're the king of the castle. So that shit had me pissed the fuck off. You know, I was talking to our VP, and we've developed a good relationship, and he said, you know, I know it's pissing me off too, but you know, you gotta pick and choose your battles, and I couldn't fight this one. And I said, well, fuck. And I said, you know, if we throw them any more bones, they're gonna keep trying to edge themselves in, and you know, you don't want a lot of hands in the batter. I have a very specific vision of how I want to improve our environment, and we got all these Tom, Dicks, and Harrys getting their hands and stuff. We're starting to go backwards. You know, I started finally implementing standards. We're gonna have these kind of layer 3 switches, this kind of cabling. You know, you do not need to pick your battles. You do not. I mean, I do not. Oh yeah, that's true. Take out all the battles. Well, you know, this is what I'm doing with that whole business. Is I'm just gonna fucking put it off for as long as possible. Say, look, we got shit we got going on, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and button up all the things that I know are wrong, and then when they fucking come around, wait, as a VP, it's your job to not kowtow? What? Explain. I'm a little inebriated right now, and feelings are bubbling. Surrender, gotcha. That's right. Exactly. You know, it's just haven't heard that phrase used in a while. Got me off guard, brother. Yeah, you don't want to be a pushover, right? And I gotta say, our VP, he fights a lot. This is one thing he should have fought on. It's a waste of my time because I'm the director of IT, and you know, the networks and security, that's my wheelhouse. You know, and so something that I have ownership of, for someone who's not an IT person to make a decision like that, pisses me the fuck off. It's undermining, and it makes me feel like I wasted a lot of time moving things in a certain direction. It's fucking busy work, you know. And this is the shit. I got so much shit to play. I'm not really get this done. Just want to start making good headway. It's like, hey, let's do this really useless thing, because you know when you outsource, these people do not work independently. You know what? Really, a lot of the smart consulting firms, what they do is they find a way to get the people to work and do all the heavy lifting, and then they take the credit and collect their pay. That's the real bullshit of it all. You know, and a fucking assessment, for Pete's sake, what a fucking waste of money. That's money that should be going to my bonus check. Fucking ridiculous. But you know, nothing new. I'm just venting. This is the world of IT, politics and crap. It's just funny, you know, when I come up with a proposal. Hey, this is how much it's gonna cost us. You know, it's a $30,000 job, but I found a way that we could get it done without really cutting corners for around 23. You know, if we skip out on this, we could bring it down to around 17K. And they're like, yeah, hey, you have 6 WAPs here. Can we do it with 2? That's what we decided to save money. But then it's like, hey, cybersecurity. I heard on the radio it's a big thing. We should go. Let's just throw money on it. Oh, my lord. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway. In other news, I've been playing more board games again. I have to say I really recommend. And I gotta say too, I'm glad I'm not in that position anymore, because I was kind of serving the role where I was the everything IT, and now I have the VP helping out with that. So that was kind of my role. And now I don't have to do that part, so I don't have to deal with much with the politics and get insulated for the stupidity. But our CEO still bugs the shit out of me. And I still report to our COO, who's really the CEO when the CEO is not around, which is most of the time. But anyway, I get installation from that kind of stupidity. You know, the constant throwing shit on their plates. Like, Jesus, can I just let me do my job? Get out of the way and let me do what I know needs to be done, not what you think needs to be done because you heard some buzzwords from someone over dinner. I tell you, this company, man, EDTS. If you ever go to their website, as a self-respected IT person, you can see the bullshit a mile away, listing all the certifications. Like, I wipe my ass with certifications. I've had all those certifications, then some. You know what? When it comes at the end of the day, I give two shits about your certifications. You know, but these guys, they spend so much time fucking selling. You know, I'm like, damn, they must spend 80% of their time and 50% of the resources just freaking putting out, hanging up banners at parks and at big events and radio spots. I mean, they have the radio spots playing 3 or 4 times an hour. It's fucking crazy. And their CEO, yeah, I'm calling you out, Charles Johnson. You fucking need to turn off the switch sometimes. That shit's, you know, when you're that aggressive with people, the only thing you're gonna do is have a bunch of customers that regret their decision. You should just educate the customer and say, hey, you know, give them options and don't be that pushy. Sure, you might get a lot of business that way, but it's all going to be short term. And I guarantee, you know, companies like that only survive when they work with people that have no IT people whatsoever, no subject matter experts internally. So they just go for whatever. Oh, yeah, they said, you know, we should invest in stocks and bonds. So that's what we're doing. So what does your VP of finance say? We don't have one. Your CPA? We outsource all that. Oh, good stuff. So you're just letting the vultures come in. You have to have mercy. You have to have some knowledge on the inside. Someone that's truly vested in your business. You know, that cares about that shit because they're part of it. You know. Anyway. So yeah, board games. I got Suro. As I mentioned last time during Free Comic Book Day, that's a fun game. Really simple, tile based. You build mazes on the fly, and all the dragons are forced to fly in the paths right in front of them. And if they fall off the board, they die. And the last person to stay on the board wins. Very simple, very easy to get into. It's good for really all ages. They say it says 8 and up, but really, you know, I think 6 and up. If you got a smart enough kid. I was playing my grandkids and they picked it up no problem. Heck, they picked up one of them picked up King of Tokyo. I think she might be a gaming wizard. She just naturally has a affinity to it. And King of Tokyo is a lot more involved because you have to understand what the cards do and, you know, how to manage your resources and you know, how to really play the dice, you know. Because if you just go, you know, you can't just always attack. You can't always just build up resources. Now you have to kind of feel what your risk is and go for it sometimes, you know, or not. So King of Tokyo is dope. We haven't played that yet. It's, you know, it's really simple. If you play zombie dice, it's kind of like that. Or really, all the dice games are pretty similar. Even Yahtzee, you know, it's like one of those things where you have X amount of rolls and you keep the things you like and hope that you could get a set of something, you know. So in King of Tokyo, if you get numbers, you get 3 or more, you get those points. Well, if you get 3, you get the points you get on the dice, and then for every other instance you get of that number, you get the same that amount on. So if you say we get 4 dice with 3 points on them, you get 3 plus 3. If you get 5, then it'd be 3 plus 3 plus 3, and so forth. Then you get the first person 20 points wins. There's a lot more to it because you get cards that have instant effect, or the discards, or ones that are persistent. They're called keepers, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens. And now we just got one of the expansions to it that adds evolutions and power ups for all the creatures, so they have passive abilities and stuff. And every monster you choose has more of a dynamic to them. They're more the monsters you choose actually have a difference. It's not just aesthetics, you know. They all have different things they could do. So that's gonna be interesting. I haven't tried it out yet, but really fun game, man. You know, it's quick setup. You could play anywhere from 2 to 8 players. and it's very easy to learn. But there's a learning curve in terms of the mastery. But the games, when you have a few players, 2 to 4 players, they're usually over in about a half hour, 45 minutes, depending how fast you are. It's about in line with what they say. I haven't played with a lot of players yet, but I'd be curious to see. I would love to see what it would look like with 8-player battle royale. That'd be pretty dope. So those are my board game recommendations. And let's see, anything else? Feel like there was something big that I wanted to discuss that was on the news. So I talked last week about the Twitter security breach. So if you use those passwords from Twitter anywhere else, you may want to change it just in case. Oh man, there was something else big that happened this week. I don't remember now. Yeah, so Twitter was storing passwords in their log file. Fucking amateur hour. It's hard to find good help. I tell ya. That's kind of the theme for the past several weeks, really, for me. It's like, people make decisions. Hey, this is easy. Let's commit to this. Like, great. Well, you should have asked the IT folks how we can support that. That's another thing, The business development people, the sales people, people making the deals, always overcommit. And it's like, yeah, we got negotiated $8,000 implementation cost. Yeah, that would not cover even 5% of what needs to be done. So we're gonna eat the cost here. Yeah, Equifax did the same thing. I read it. Yeah, it's crazy. The shit we take for granted. It's like, yeah, people, delete their accounts on a lot of shit. If you're not using shit, having all these accounts floating around. It's kind of scary shit. But the real lesson is, don't use the same password for your bank or anything that's really important than you do for social media sites. That's the simple rule of thumb. That's it. There's something else I was gonna talk about before we wrapped up. Shit. It's fucking humid as hell. Don't use the same passwords. Yeah, I would say that, but I think the average person has the capacity to remember 3 to 5 passwords on rotation. That good, strong passwords. And I don't mean I just added 2 different numbers at the end of it, but it's the same password I use everywhere else. No, that doesn't count. But yeah, I think having people memorize 10 to 15 passwords, and if you have to write them down at that point, then you defeat the purpose. That's why 2-factor authentication is so important, because you give yourself another layer. Each password I use is site specific and a small sentence. That's a good thing. If you have a mnemonic device, I think it helps out. So when they give you password hints, I like to think of a narrative, but but you have to do it in a way that it's not an English word. It needs to be some gibberish in there, but it's enough that it'll remind you of what you were thinking of at the time. And if you use a very complex password, the more complex password would be for things you use more often. But if it's something you don't use as often, it shouldn't be as complex. But those are going to be harder passwords to be. Was it a uppercase, lowercase here? Did I put a bang or an ampersand? Was it 2 of them or 3? That's a pretty good one, yeah. Yeah, so something you could take. Length is important too. Mixed case. Yeah, let's get into this. We'll get into another IT rant. I guess that's all I got. Memorial Week is coming up, isn't it? I think next weekend. So yeah, barbecue time. So it's been so freaking humid the past few days. We went through like a really dry heat wave here in Georgia, and now it's been humid and like just raining, which is good. We needed that rainfall, but the humidity is just nasty. It's just like I feel like just peeling my skin off, you know. But it feels nice outside, but like that humidity lingers inside, you know. No bueno. Tech Help for Dummies show, covering one or two episodes, covering all the basics for idiots. That could be a good series. Yeah. Simple things everybody should do. Like, did you know you can only replace your Social Security card 10 times in your lifetime? So don't lose that shit. Guard it with your life. Nah, that's about all I got right at this moment. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to drinking, guys. Thank you for joining me for this rant session, and get the metal one. Ooh, they have that now. That's a good option there. I need to get one of those. I still got the old school paper one. See, you learn something new every day. Anyway, this has been Yogizilla. You can catch me at Yogizilla on Twitter, and Yogizilla on Xbox Live. That's about it really these days. I check everything else here and there. Kind of, again, working my ass off. This week's going to be even crazy. I'm going to be drawing some diagrams and process flows and all this kind of fun stuff. Plus, we're rolling out a new application server, and it's training, and oh my lord, it never ends. But that's good though, because that means I have job security. Because literally, if they ever like fire me over something stupid, the place will burn down. It'll just burn down in a blaze, you know, and then they'll eventually beg me to come back. Pretty confident that, though. No, then again, you know, never underestimate stubbornness of companies. You know, they'll let shit go up in flames just out of pride. They won't bring people back. Then again, we brought back a manager that's a complete idiot, useless piece of shit. We brought him back after 2 months, but now we brought him back at on a 1099 basis. You know, that's interesting. We don't, at least we're not fully invested in him. But I feel pretty confident in my being indispensable. I do so much fucking shit well beyond my job title. I'm freaking network engineer, programmer, app administrator, database administrator, fucking everything. It's fucking crazy sometimes. Then I have to manage my vendors and my team members. You know, and it's funny because, you know, people say, oh, well, you know, it's really hard because, you know, with all the outsourcing, people are losing jobs. It's like, nah, trust me, that trend's going to go the other way. Tons of people are regretting that. You know, like we said earlier, you can't outsource everything. Anyway, this has been HorsePLAY Live episode 229, and next week hopefully we'll be back on a regular schedule. I don't know. I think I might stick to Friday and Saturday nights because Thursdays just don't line up. I'm just so beat during the week. I'm like, and I don't want to do the show without some semblance of hype. I don't want to be like, you know, Clear Eyes. Is it Clear Eyes or Visine? I can't remember. Wow, with Ben Stein. Yeah, that's the name, right? Wow, I can't even do it now. You know, don't want to be blah. All right, folks, out of here. Love you. Mean it. Bye.